go back to the phones. Let's go to Chelsea in Kansas City, Missouri. Chelsea, what's up?
Hi, John. How are you?
I am outstanding. How about you?
I'm doing awesome.
Good. So how can I help this morning?
I have recently gone through a divorce, and I'm getting back out into the dating scene, and it's hard. I'm in my mid-30s, and I just want some guidance on how to make this work. And I have 2 kids, 2 young kids, 6 and 2.
6 and 2. So how long were you married?
That's interesting. I was married for a year, then we divorced for a year, and my daughter was 2 at the time, and I dated somebody, and it just scared me so much I remarried my ex-husband again. And we had another kid, and then
So you remarried because you got scared? You remarried because you got scared, or you remarried, you dated somebody new and thought, no, he's the one, I love him, or I don't want to invest in any more time than anybody else? What was the reason you went back? It wasn't because you were scared. Why'd you really go back and remarry him?
Well, it was kind of out of fear because I didn't want my daughter to grow up in a split home with having to choose a new parent and a new family. So I went back to my ex-husband.
So you weren't scared of a new relationship. You were scared of your daughter growing up in a separate house. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so why'd you get divorced the second time to the same guy?
For the same reasons. We just aren't compatible. We just don't get along. We don't have the same life goals.
Give me some more details than just not compatible. And there's a reason why I'm asking this, but not just to be gratuitous.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't have the same work ethic as me, drive. We don't agree on parenting. His parents pretty much hand him everything and don't really make him work hard for anything. And my mom is completely the opposite of that. We've always had to work really hard for everything in our life.
So those things sound like some things that every couple goes through. Something below that made you get divorced twice. What is it? Those are just discomforts. Those are things that every couple deals with. I thought we should do this. I thought we should do this. Those are usually navigational issues. Something below that made you get divorced twice.
We got married because I got pregnant with my daughter. So I married him because I thought it was the right thing to do for her.
Ah, there we go. And did you resent him?
No, I didn't at the time. I think I do more now. I just kind of felt like I was doing the right thing. Like God picked him for me because I was so bad at picking people before. And then that happened. And I was like, well, this is the one. And thought that I could learn to love him. And I guess that's kind of where I'm getting into the dating scene. I don't want to just learn to love somebody, but I also know the butterflies and the fireworks, that's not always healthy either.
Right. So here's a couple of things I could pass on to you. Learn to, and I'm making a note here. So I think first I want to differentiate between learn to and choose to. Learn to suggests that something is going to come from out there and present itself to you as new knowledge or new information or new things you can brush under the rug, like he's just gross or he's rude or he yells at our kids instead of hugs them, whatever the things are, and you're going to learn to deal with those things. And that's not a healthy way to approach relationships. You can learn new information to process it and you use the information, but just learning to, that's not a good way to look at it. I do believe with all of my heart, this idea of choosing. You do choose to be in love. You do choose to be in a relationship. You do choose to remain married. There's a great theologian, Rich Mullins, who once said, the worst part about being a Christian is that it's every single day. And you can never memorize enough scripture that you don't got to get up and try to live right the next day. That same thing applies to exercise, right? You can never have such a good workout on a Monday that you're squared up for the rest of the month. The worst part about being in shape is you got to get up on Tuesday and work out again, and get up on Wednesday and either rest or fix your body and work out again. Love is the same way. And I heard this maybe a few months ago, and it stuck in my soul. Where do you think we get our most detailed metaphor for love? The picture we get of romance and of love and of Starstruck love, and I just gave you a hint there. Where does that come from? Where does our picture of the ultimate love come from?
I have no idea.
All right, here's where it comes from. Romeo and Juliet.
Okay.
Romeo and Juliet, two starstruck lovers who see each other from across the room at a party. The gods fated them together, and then they end up dying because their love is so deep. Or maybe Titanic, right? Or The Notebook, or any of these things where you see somebody, it's it, and then you are willing to die. And the reality is this. Like Romeo and Juliet were two teenagers who wanted to hook up. They secretly got married, and they threw a temper tantrum, and one killed the other one and then killed himself. And so these two 16-year-olds have become our model, right? Or Jack and Rose on a boat. And I forgot Rachel McAdams and Gosling. I forgot their character names. Kelly through the booth is giving me a hard time here. Noah and Allie. She couldn't let it be. Noah and Allie, right? Here's the thing. Love and relationship and marriage is a choice. And so what you are going to have to do when you head back out there, Chelsea, is you're going to have to decide, I want to love this person. And if you get the butterflies and the feelings and the things, that's great. Or you're going to choose not to love that person, right? So that's number one. Number two, you're going to find out about yourself and childhood insecurities, all of these. Do I look good? Am I first in line? Does he like me? Does he listen to me? Do I have acne? All these things that you thought you did away with in middle school will come flooding back to you. And so most people get caught off guard. I'll say most. Many people get caught off guard by this reemergence of this little girl or these little boy insecurities that come rushing out after having been in a long-term relationship. And you'll get this sense like, man, I thought I would be past this by now. I thought I'd be all growed up and everything would be all good. The reality is no, those things live deep in you because they're only healed through relationship. And now you're dealing with a fractured relationship. And the final thing I'll tell you is this. Expect to have doubts about your judgment. Or another way I could say it is you're going to lose trust in yourself because you thought that God told you to do something when you got pregnant and so you got married. And then you chose to get divorced. And you thought that was the right thing. And then you got remarried. And then you got divorced again. So most people forget when they get divorced, they're not just losing a partner. They're not losing a dream. They're not losing a future. They're also dealing with lost trust in themselves. And so what I want to recommend as you go out, as you start hitting the dating scene, obviously you're going to respect your kids, right? You're not going to bring home knuckleheads to meet your kids until you are very, very serious. You're not going to drag them through a series of relationships. So that goes without saying. But I want you to have somebody that you can talk to, whether it's a close friend and not just like a, yeah, girl, woo, not a friend like that, but somebody who's a little bit older, a little bit wiser, maybe somebody's been remarried, maybe a counselor, maybe somebody at your local church, somebody who will walk with you and will give you some insight and some wisdom to deal with the exciting butterfly moments, the middle school, high school moments, and then the middle school, high school, college insecurities, and the ups and the downs. And then as you choose, not as you feel fated or as you feel, oh, it's going to happen, but as you choose to say, this is the guy that I want to spend the rest of my life with. This is the guy that I'm going to get up every day and decide that I'm going to love. This is the guy that I'm going to lean in towards, even when he's annoying, even when he's frustrating, even when I feel vulnerable. That's going to be the guy that you end up with. That's going to be the guy that's going to help you have a healthy marriage. And I'm going to expect him to do the same thing for you. I'm going to expect him to choose you every day. And choosing is so, so hard. So prepare to feel insecure again. Prepare to feel like you don't trust your instincts anymore. Prepare to have somebody that walks with you, a community of people that you trust. Go for it, man. Go for it, Chelsea. Protect your kids in this process and protect your heart. So thank you so much for the call.